We're back with football again, and we are going to be dissecting the problems that are currently plaguing Liverpool. It's back-to-back defeats for the first time under Arne Slot, and we need to discuss that and more. Is Warifa, Mr. Saeed, Mr. Kunle Williams, and Mustafa. I'm still Afalabia. Welcome to the show.
Okay, welcome. So Slot is a good coach. You have to be a good coach to win your first season and everything, but
Yeah.
he's not. The team has lacked continuity since even last year. Um, the continuity that Klopp had when he had people like Trent Alexander and certain people in positions. Now he has Frimpong and Kirkez and as fullbacks, but these guys can't invert the way that Trent Alexander can, and they can't pass and link. And this is supposed to be a team that's fluid, where there's not supposed to be, even though you have a certain position, it's very fluid, so that you don't have defined positions. But a lot of the players they have now are discrete; they can only play one role, and they don't have the same fluidity. Same thing with Verts. Verts is supposed to be a number 10 who's supposed to stay in one area and be comfortable there. He's not somebody who's supposed to be running and doing a lot of stuff. They've lost Diaz. Diaz was also a very fluid player who could run and do things. Yeah. So it seems like right now with the lineups, and then also remember, I think it was the first week when they almost draw or lost Liverpool. They brought in they changed both of their fullbacks and put a CDM as a fullback or put a fullback as a CDM, something stupid like that. So what he's doing is that he's treating the team as pieces when the team is supposed to be one fluid organization. And the biggest mistake he made was bringing in Verts for all of that money, because Verts is like trying to put, like you said, a square in a circle. It doesn't fit. He's not a bad player. He doesn't fit on that team. They've got Ekitike. Ekitike is ready. He's playing well, but there's no continuity with that team. And Kirkez, and I don't know what they're going to do about Kirkez and Frimpong, because those guys aren't able to do both. They're not able to play on defense and come back and also move forward and overlap and stuff. They can't. They're not fluid. So they have a problem at fullback with both of their fullbacks, and then they have a problem in the midfield with Wirtz. He shouldn't be there. I don't know what they can do to solve this. What are your thoughts, Afolabi?
Your speaker is muted, Mr. Falabi.
I think he's frozen.
He's on mute.
He's on mute. Afolabi, you're on mute now. Come on.
No, he's on mute.
Yeah, he's on mute.
Okay, so
Start
like I was saying, first of all, it's the defense. That's where I want to start with, because if you look at the defense, in 10 games, they've conceded, they have only 2 clean sheets. This time last season, they were able to keep 6 clean sheets in 10 games. So when you are conceding a lot of goals, even though you are scoring, it's a problem. It shows that your midfield is not protecting your defense well enough. Now you have brought in Frimpong to replace Trent Arnold. He's just the same kind of player who goes forward without due regard for defensive duties, tracking back, recovery pace. It really doesn't have it. So when Liverpool lose the ball, they're hopelessly exposed at the back. And then like Mustafa said, he's trying to shoehorn players into positions where they're not comfortable. So the whole setup is asymmetrical. Like, for instance, look at this guy, Slobosly, who is a midfielder, has been made to play in defense and right back on certain occasions. Yesterday, I think against the Galatasaray, he used this guy as a winger, Frimpong, and then he dropped, I think, Slobosly to a defensive position as well. And then the luxury acquisition of Florian Wirtz, as well as Isak, those are players they didn't really need because they didn't have problems scoring goals. There was a glaring gap in defense. Yeah. There was a glaring gap in defense that they refused to, to fill, to replace. And it's affecting the whole chemistry of the team. And because of the cost of Wirtz and Isak, it cost them £450 million. To drop Wirtz now is a problem, but they need to drop him because he's making the team look lopsided. And yes, it's a tactical misfit. So they have to find a way in January to bring in a good defender. The likes of Van Dijk and Konate have been good over the years, but they have lost a yard of pace, and tracking back has been a problem for Van Dijk, even though he has been very, very formidable in the past year. So I think it's a combination of all these factors that has affected them. This is the first time they're losing 2 games back to back. Crystal Palace at the weekend and then Galatasaray right now.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Kule?
I think Kule has frozen.
Mr.
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 Kunle.
Kunle has frozen up. Yeah.
Okay, it's back.
Okay, I think it's back now.
What are your thoughts, Kunle?
Oh, he's frozen again.
Let's move to Saeed. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so continuing from where Mr. Falabi stopped, I think it is that defense that the player that I feel that is giving Liverpool's problem in that defense is that Konate. Even a friend of mine who
Yes.
happens to be a
Yeah, true, Konate.
Liverpool fan, he's always complaining. We are always complaining about that Konate.
Yeah.
I think he's I wouldn't say he's old or something, but he's
overweight.
he's not moving fast. That pace that Premier League is playing on, I don't think he can actually keep up. If they continue using him, they'll continue having that same slippery problem of any smart attacker can just go through Konate and give them some problems. So I think they should work on their maybe find an extra. Van Dijk is still there. But I think Van Dijk now is playing more of a 6 or so because you hardly see him. It's just all these sweeping runs that he normally does at the back. But Van Dijk is still there, but maybe they should find one more person to sub with for Konate because Konate is not there.
Even though Konate is sluggish and stuff, it also doesn't help that Florian Wirtz himself too is not able to. You can run through the midfield now because he's not moving, so that doubles the problem. Because now that the midfield is out, that makes it even worse for Konate and these guys because you have weak links in the midfield. Everybody on that team is supposed to be able to run and play all out, like when they had the Gegen press. Now that this new press with tactical moves, it's not as fluid as the Gegen press. So I think that you're right. It's Konate is having issues, but in general, the structure of the team and the shape and everything is not helping either. What are your thoughts on Mr. Warif?
Yes, I agree with all what everyone has said. Liverpool, like that, I was thinking of Konate before. So I said it. Konate looks heavy and he's slow. A very smart attacker can easily, dribble him, pass through him. But because your opponent will always study your videos, and at the study they see that he's becoming very sluggish or very heavy or slow. You want to look for a sharp attacker that is very smart to get through him. But the good thing about him is that Konate uses his body advantage. If you watch him, he's big. He can use his body advantage to bully players. Then for Mohamed Salah. If you watch previous season, Mohamed Salah is the engine room of Liverpool. But every season, if you look at Mohamed Salah very well, it's like age has started telling on him. You cannot cheat nature, no matter how good you are. I think age has started setting in on Mohamed Salah. Then also Isak that they bought, they need to really look for a way. If I prefer Nketiah to Isak to me, because Nketiah is more tactical than Isak. Then also for some of the players he bought, if not for the death of Diego Jota, he would have just bought one. Their players, their squad for last season, I still prefer that the last season squad to this present one because Luis Diaz, very smart. I call him, he plays street football. So I think the coach has to do better than this. And again, they lost. One of the reasons why they lost to Galatasaray, if you watch that game, they were on them, no breathing space. Even Victor Osimhen was even playing like a robot, man-to-man marking. English football is different from Spanish league and some other league. So the English football is just fast, but the physicality is not there. So they didn't give these Liverpool players that time. And now they've lost back-to-back game. That's the fear, the fear of not losing game. I start setting in. It's not that they are playing against Chelsea, and Chelsea, their squad is somehow not really stable. If not, it would have been a very interesting game. But not taking anything from Premier League, anything can still happen in the game. But the Liverpool coach need to work on his defense, and also they should try and get somebody that can replace Mohamed Salah for now to start grooming the person. If not replacing him, but start grooming the person.
Yeah, they got a lot of challenges. What are your thoughts, Kunle?
Yeah, I look at the players that Liverpool brought in this season. They brought in an entire back line. They brought Leone at centre back, Frimpong at right, and Kirkers in the centre. Then, if you look to their midfielders, they brought in a couple of midfielders. I don't think they had a problem at CDM. So when I look at the problems that they've had, okay, they've lost 2 games in a row. But I'm a person that doesn't really know how to judge a side until 10 games in. So I won't say that because I'll say that they've had a hiccup. Also, I didn't see the games. I missed the Liverpool game. But I do know that they've been having problems this season in defense. They have been looking frail in defense. And Liverpool, also because they've got Florian Wirtz, they're trying to work him into the team. I think some players take a while. Liverpool are a club that are patient with their players. We've seen players like Gravenberch struggle in their first season. Liverpool is always patient with their players, so they won't listen to any outside influences about changing the coach or getting rid of a player or anything like that. Their fans are going to back the player until he starts playing well. So I think that I'll give Liverpool more time before I give a full assessment. And I think that they've also no, it's not on this. I'm not saying people on this show. I'm saying in general. And also, if you when we look at how Liverpool are going to go, they did so well in the transfer season, but it's looking like they're going to need time for these players to adjust. If after 10 games they're still struggling or they're looking bad, then I will say, okay, yes, then they've had problems. But I'm waiting to see how these players adjust.
Here's the problem. Given the style that Slot plays, he brought in the wrong personnel. If you play a pressing, running type of game, why would you bring in a classical number 10 like Wirtz? What I'm trying to say is he bought the wrong players. He should have addressed his defense rather than bringing all these guys. Even Isak, I'm beginning to wonder if he can fit in this type of team. Because Isak is a traditional number 9, and that's more of a 4-3-3 style. The style that Slot plays. So maybe it's not that he may have to change his style then to accommodate these players, because these players may not be flexible enough to play the style that he intends to play. What do you think, Kunle?
Well, he bought defenders. He bought 3 defenders.
He made a big mistake of Konate. Konate is sluggish. Look what happened yesterday.
Yeah. He bought fullbacks.
I'm like, he bought Leone. He bought Leone. I think that he recognized
he bought fullbacks.
The problem. He bought a centre back.
But here's the thing. Wirtz was
he bought a centre back as well, Leone.
Yeah, from Italy, but he's a young player, not really experienced. He brought in a
English league is very.
Wirtz does not fit in on that team. Wirtz should be playing in Spain or somewhere where his style of play, unless
fast.
And now they have Wirtz. This is not me dissing Wirtz. He's on the wrong team. He's not going to fit in. He's not going to be able to replace the losses they've had with guys like Diaz and Co. who run. Then these guys aren't like ballers. Liverpool is not a baller team. You have to be fast, aggressive, and have to have a lot of energy. Wirtz doesn't have that type of profile. And that's why we saw Galatasaray abuse and bully Liverpool's midfield yesterday.
Yeah.
I saw Gravenberch fail when he first came. So I think Liverpool do have trouble getting players to adjust quickly. So that's why I say I have to wait some time on Wirtz.
Yeah.
And Linkenba is injured. Got injured in yesterday's game. Liverpool.
Yeah, but Liverpool bought like about 3 keepers.
From Osimhen's shot.
All right, so let's